All right. Quickly, Rob, I got the longest yard on. Look, one of my favorite sports movies is The Longest Yard, both the original with Burt Reynolds and the remake with Adam Sandler. You on board with that? I thought both of them were great.
No, those are great movies, both of them.
Yeah. They did a good job with the remake. All right, so we got Aaron Rodgers, of course. Bad opening weekend, not just for him, but for his team. One of the first plays of the game, he throws to Christian Watson, rookie receiver, and hits him perfectly. Doesn't have to break stride, in the hands, doesn't have to like stretch out for it's just right. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better thrown ball, and he dropped it. And then Rodgers iced him. The young man never saw another target the rest of the day. Now, in fairness to Rodgers, it ain't like Christian Watson is the number one receiver. They had other places to go, all right? So he was throwing to other guys, but I don't know. It seems like he doesn't get another ball thrown to him. It seems like Rodgers was exercising some tough love, and that did not sit well with Sean Payton, the great coach with the New Orleans Saints, Super Bowl winning coach, who knows, maybe coaching the Cowboys next year for all we know, Rob. But anyway, Payton was on the herd earlier this week, Rob, and he went in on Aaron Rodgers. Here he is.
Drives me crazy. Here's the thing. I didn't think he played well. I didn't think Aaron played well. But ultimately, when you watch that game, if you looked at the offensive and defensive lines, the fronts of both teams, I think that battle was won on both sides of the ball by Minnesota. And then the rest was a byproduct of what we saw in the game. So one quarterback was under duress, the other had more time. All the other things then become more problematic when you're losing that battle up front. But yeah, I agree with you. And then after the game, we go to the interview in the locker room, and the very first question posed to Aaron was about bouncing back, and he referenced the first play of the game, the drop pass to the rookie, and I thought, come on. And I like Aaron Rodgers, but I didn't like what I saw. Yeah, and the whole pregame with the Zen stuff, just like enough. I want to see, every once in a while, all of us need to be checked, don't we?
All right, that was Sean Payton on the Lindsay Rose podcast, not The Herd. That was my mistake. First of all, and you can go off, then it's you. I got to give Sean Payton credit, Rob, because we see a lot of former coaches, former players, particularly coaches who intend on getting back in the game. They mince their words. They don't speak their mind. So I will give Sean Payton credit in that, in being critical of one of the top players in the league, top players ever. I give him credit for that.
Yeah, I wasn't moved. I don't think he said anything that was earth-shattering. Everybody does it differently. You don't think he
was critical of Aaron Rodgers?
I said I don't think it was earth-shattering. It's easy. They lost. He was bad. Aaron Rodgers didn't have a touchdown. That's easy. That's easy to just pile on him and say,
well, he didn't pile on him for that.
Well, I'm just saying
he piled on him for going at his
I'm saying, but the tone of everything, if they would have won the game and Aaron Rodgers did the same thing to that kid, it wouldn't be looked at that way. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know that he wouldn't have done that.
If they would have won the game and Aaron didn't throw to that kid who dropped a 75-yard perfectly thrown ball, I'm not saying everybody's different. Some people want kid gloves, and some people don't want you to know you're in the NFL now. You can't drop that, okay? And if you keep doing it, you won't be around. That's how it is. What does the NFL stand for? Not for long. And we've seen it. That kid who dropped the interception that Matthew Stafford threw to 49, he's out of the league, Chris.
Jaquaski Tart.
He's out of the league. Is that cruel? Is that unfair?
I agree with you on
That's all I'm saying.
Look, there's really no right way. I mean, the right way will be shown.
Yes.
Right? Like if this kid
is better.
Although, you know what? I'm even going to say this. if this kid can't recover from this,
then he wasn't going to be good anyway.
Says, right. And he says it's because, or other people say it's because Aaron, iced him after he dropped the pass. Aaron maybe didn't talk to him for a day or two at practice. I don't know, whatever. Then that's the kid's fault. You do have to be able to handle that. All right. If you want to be a professional football player, you got to be able to handle people doing things like that. All right. So I'll give you that. I don't know that there's any right way, like better way.
That's all I'm
like
saying.
Some guys are going to be like, the next possession, they're throwing it to you to show you, look, I still believe in you. And I'm cool with that. That's fine. Right. And then some guys are going to be like tough like, dude, this is the NFL, Doc. I think the kids from North Dakota State, too.
Right.
Like, this ain't Division I.
You just got
anymore.
a great opportunity. You're playing with one of the greatest quarterbacks who's played. You got a 70 to start your career. I believed in you to give you a bomb, Chris. Go right.
Man up and catch the freaking football.
I could have made you on your first throw in the NFL, right? Like, oh, my God. Like, that could have changed his career, Chris. That's
Rob, I told you the story of how when I was an intern and my first article I wrote for the Plain Dealer and the assistant sports editor went off on
He was like, this is terrible.
Yes, he was. He was yelling at me. People in the newsroom heard it.
You were like, oh,
and
God.
I had to either man up.
Right. Or roll into
leave
a ball.
with my tail between my ears. And I honestly, this is a good lesson for the young millennials or whatever they are, generations the X. Because this is a more sensitive generation and you can't be too harsh. Don't be too mean. I don't, that's not life to me, Rob.
It's not.
You have to be able to fight through adversity. I'm thankful for the adversities I've had to fight through. I didn't like all of them. Who likes adversity?
Nobody. We'd all love to have an easy life. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. I'm with you.
You learn from it. You grow from it. So I'm not going to kill Aaron for this. I think Christian Watson has to man up. Sure, he could do it a different way, Aaron, but look, it's fine. The bottom line is you do what you – it's like Trey Lance, we're saying, look, you can't just keep patting the dude on the back. You got to get the job done.
You got to make plays. And Chris, we talk about it all the time. The NFL is about making plays. It just is.
Right.
It really is. It's you can sit here and talk about all the other things. You're put in position. You got to make some plays. And if that kid works on his game about the next time Aaron Rodgers throws me a pass, I'm going to catch that bad boy.
Right.
Then the job has been, then you've done it. Or he goes the next 10 catches, Chris, without a miss. Then you've driven home the point.
Right.
Dude, this is not Pop Warner. You're in the NFL.
Even at the younger levels, you get yelled at. You get,
If Aaron went off on him on the sidelines, Chris, I'd have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Like if he was screaming at the guy or whatever. No, you don't have to do that. But he's like, you didn't earn another ball.
Right. Now, I don't know how far Payton would go on Rodgers. Rob, I've talked about, I do think that Aaron Rodgers, in their degrees, all right? But I do think he lacks some of the intangibles that the absolute greatest have. Like you think Joe Montana's the GOAT. I think Tom Brady's the GOAT. I think most people would say those two, right, are in the discussion. They weren't the most talented physically. They had intangibles. They were leaders. They could galvanize the locker room. They could get players to believe not only in them, but in themselves. They, their play, improved in the big moments. They were clutch, things like that. Some of those are things I do think Aaron Rodgers lacks. And I don't know if Payton was going there, meant that, whatever. But I think those are that's why we've all said it. He could be, I think, right, Him or Peyton Manning's probably the greatest regular season quarterback ever. But Rodgers hasn't gotten it done in the postseason, and I think some of that is because of a lack of some of these intangibles. Even like running like 2 years ago in the playoffs, right? Didn't run for it on that third down when he maybe could have scored in the NFC title game, or certainly got to the 3, 2, 1 yard line, and he didn't. And then he didn't say, I can't remember who it was we had on that said some quarterbacks will say they got that stature to say to the coach, no. Less.
Greg Jennings, I think.
It was Jennings, yeah. Obviously Rodgers has that stature, but he didn't say it to Matt LaFleur, who was only in his second year as coach. Heck, Russell Wilson didn't say it to Nathaniel Hackett. So I think some of those, and this, I'm with you. I don't know that this is an example of that, because I think both the tough love approach and the kid gloves approach can both work. And hopefully this tough love approach works with this kid. But I think that's my take on Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for me to say he did win a Super Bowl. I know it was 10 years ago, but it's not like he never won. I think I think I would have more issues if he had never won despite his regular season. And I'm not going to recount the ones. The last couple of years, he hasn't played well. But there were other situations, Chris, where the defense gave up 40 points or onside kick in Seattle. I could go on and on and on. I'm not going to sit here and make any excuses. But I can't sit here and say he doesn't have the intangibles to win, because he did win. And a lot of great quarterbacks only win one, a lot. And unfortunately, because of the way football's played, the league, it's not as easy as we have more guys with just one. Dan Marino was a great quarterback, never won. Peyton Manning only had one, and then he got the gift at the end. Right, you got to 4. Yeah, got the gift at the end.
That's the thing. Like I just, to me, the fact, and he's got the one, so you can't say he can't win. But to me, and again, you know what we say, Rob. When you look at the all-timers, you nitpick because they're all great.
No, I get it.
But the fact that he's only been the one is also like kind of like, wow. He, as great as this dude was, he's in the starting for 15 years. And only got to one. Now I'm picking him to get to it this year.
It'll be interesting to see.
We'll see.
Yeah. And I think long term, and obviously it's a long way to go, but the way he finishes up might determine if he wins one on the way out or wins 2 on.
If he won one, Rob, it'd be huge.
It would,
for him.
And it would because he would have all those numbers. He'd be say 2-0, Chris, in the Super Bowl. People could live with that. I mean, they would be
all
like,
the MVPs.
Exactly. Got 4, right? It would one more Super Bowl
absolutely
winning would change the narrative on him.
Will work wonders for him. Yep. No doubt about it.